Hey there team, welcome back. Now I'm going to talk you through the gymnastics for the climb phase. In this phase, we're going to have a big ring muscle up focus. Okay, this is going to be 2 sessions a week are going to be spent developing our ring muscle up. Specific work will focus on strict strength and volume. So we're either going to be working through some strict ring muscle up work or pairing kipping ring muscle up with strict ring muscle up work. If you've not got strict ring muscle up work, don't worry, there'll be options for you. Positional strength, so that's time and holds in positions, eccentrics, and then we're going to layer in touches on kipping ring muscle ups. Okay, often when we just work strict strength and we don't then have touches, it doesn't transfer quite as well. So there's going to be frequent touches on kipping ring muscle ups layered into all our strict work, all our eccentric work, all our positional work, so that we're always working both and we're always improving both at the same time. The accessory work is going to comprise of ring pushing and ring pulling. This is going to be both loaded work, okay, so it might be a weight vest, feet elevated ring row, or a weighted strict ring dip, and then holds as well, so ring support holds, ring dip holds. So you can see we're spending a lot of time building strength in all the positions that we're going to need for our ring muscle ups to improve. Then in our accessory work as well, there's going to be kipping abdominal tension. What that means is when we go into that kip position and we're in our big arch position and our abdominals are at their most lengthened, they're one of our biggest contributors to being able to then keep a tight kipping position rather than a bendy back, knees bent type position. So the more we can get better in our kipping ab tension, tighter our kip's going to be, and then the more power we're going to be able to generate from that kip. As well as that, we're going to be using our abs on the second session. We're going to be looking at turnover abdominal power. That's kind of speed strength. That's what I mean by power, where that moment where we turn over and crunch and engage our abs. We're going to be doing a few different med ball and plyometric type exercises to improve the power and speed and strength of our abs in that crunching turnover. Now, why are we having such a focus on ring muscle ups? It's a movement that all athletes almost definitely just need continued work on, okay? And probably get away with not touching on, say, a toe to bar for a few weeks, but ring muscle ups, for most athletes, we need continued work on them over and over if they're going to both maintain and get better. Also, it transfers well to other aspects of gymnastics. So we work on our ring muscle ups a lot. It's going to, improve our bar muscle ups, going to improve our pulling strength, our dipping strength, our tension in our toes to bar, etc. Okay. And then why are we having such a focus on the strict and positional work? It's obviously going to build a base for greater capacity. Okay, we can't just continue to do EMOMs of ring muscle ups and think that's going to get us better at ring muscle ups. At some point, we're going to break the movements down, work on the different parts of the ring muscle up, and then that'll contribute to a better ring muscle up later on. Then in this phase, there's also going to be a focus on the strict handstand push-up. Okay, we recognise it's something that JST athletes need to work on, and so we want to really hammer it. It's going to be 2 sessions a week where we're going to be doing strict handstand push-ups and then chest-facing handstand push-ups. This specific work will focus on strict volume, okay, volume and density work. Density is those AMRAPs where we're working a lot of reps in those AMRAPs. I'm also going to be doing deficit and eccentric strength work, okay? Don't panic if you've not got deficit strict handstand push-ups. There'll be options for you. And then eccentric work as well. We'll be lowering ourselves down as slowly as possible. As well as that, there'll be some handstand push-up holds. These are where we hold at the halfway point of the handstand push-up, and that's going to be paired with some pressing work. So holds and pressing combo to really build and improve our handstand push-up overall strength and strength endurance. The accessory work is going to comprise of more vertical pressing strength, but also tricep strength endurance, okay? The chest-facing handstand push-up in particular is very tricep-y, so the more we can build that strength in, say, diamond push-ups, dumbbell rollbacks, all that kind of stuff, the more it's going to transfer. The why, as I said, they're a movement that athletes need continued work on, and also strong pressing capacity, strong overhead pressing capacity, obviously transfers well across the spectrum of stuff that we need to work on: wall balls, thrusters, etc. The stronger and more strength endurance we have during any overhead pressing, the better in CrossFit. Chest to bar pull-ups and toes to bar then are going to be touched on in the same session just once per week. Okay, so there's going to be one touch on them per week where we do a little bit of strict chest to bar, a little bit of strict toes to bar work, with then some kipping volume layered in. These sessions will combine of strict strength and strict strength endurance work, and there will be, like I said, some kipping work layered in there. This is going to build a base for greater capacity, like we said, same as the ring muscle ups. Okay, if we work that strict strength for our chest to bar pull-ups, it's going to transfer to our butterfly chest to bar pull-ups and the volume of toes to bar, etc. Just one session a week to allow for that greater focus on muscle ups and handstand push-ups, which we feel like are at this phase a more important work on for us. Rope climbs. We're going to really look at progressing our legless rope climb in this phase. Sessions are going to alternate between a legless rope climb capacity and skill progression. That'll be little bits of the legless rope climb broken down. So we might do a legged rope climb into a legless rope climb descent, and just breaking down the skill there, okay? And then we're also going to be doing rope climbs paired with some pulling and grip strength endurance work, okay? So think one legless rope climb into single arm rope rows, that kind of thing, really building our pulling strength and our grip strength. Why? Well, again, just like the strict handstand push-ups and the ring muscle-ups, these are a movement that athletes do need continued work and focus on, and that strong grip and pulling strength transfers well across training. Finally, what about our handstand walks? These are going to be touched on not in our gymnastics specific sessions, but in a weekly skills Saturday workout, which is going to be higher skill and low intensity piece. Okay, higher skill, building that peak, and they're going to be quite high. So there's going to be handstand ramps involved, handstand pirouettes, just really building our skill level in the handstand. Alongside that, we've got some unilateral accessory work. This will focus on the transverse plane and the frontal plane shoulder robustness, okay? What that means, again, like I said, we're often just working in this up and down motion in our gymnastics, whereas shoulder abduction and adduction and internal and external rotation often aren't fully touched. So by adding that work in, we're going to be building joint health, contributing towards injury prevention.
Here I'll be explaining some of the similarities, differences between JST athlete, the all-rounder, and the gymnastic bias, so it makes more sense to you. So I've taken Jamie's slides here and highlighted in orange some of the key differences so that you know exactly what is different so you can get more out of the program. So exactly the same as the main core of JST athlete, the all-rounder, there's going to be 2 sessions a week that are ring muscle up focused, on a Monday and on a Friday. The main differences from the all-rounder to the gymnastic bias is that the gymnastic bias will have a reduced skill level for quite a lot, or quite a few movements, to make sure that you're getting the necessary gains and adaptations and the stimulus that we want out of the program. So a good example of that is that on Mondays in the main core, there's sometimes some strict ring muscle ups. Obviously, for most of you guys following the gymnastic bias, if not all, you probably don't yet have a strict ring muscle up. So instead of that, we'll be making sure that we consistently on a Monday hit some strict weighted pulling, hit some strict pulling and strict pushing work to make sure that you get the most out of it and can work towards getting that strict ring muscle up. All right. One more example of that will be that on a Friday, we've increased the volume of the sets that you will be doing for the main strength work of the ring muscle ups as well. So rather than what's in the main core, you can expect an extra set or 2. So just as simple as that. Sometimes as well, there'll be more rest. Okay. So if it's the case, for example, on a Friday, you can do an eccentric ring muscle up and you can potentially do it for 10 seconds. For someone that's a little bit stronger and a bit more proficient at, with their upper body strength, they'll need less rest than you guys who, don't have quite the same, level of strength. So, but if you were to rest longer, you would still be able to keep that 10-second tempo, which would be what we're after. So again, just some really simple changes like that longer rest will mean that you're getting just as much out of the program, as someone else who's doing the same, but just needs to rest that little bit less. Okay. There's more positional strength work. So again, as an example with the main core, you'll see that every other week there's like a hold session and it kind of alternates. For the gymnastic bias, those holds are in every single week to make sure, again, we're kind of increasing the frequency and because of that, the volume as well, to make sure that we're getting a little bit more time in positions that we do need to strengthen. Again, we're maximizing the chances that we're going to get the movement down the road, okay, because we've banked this big volume of strength work. So yeah, that's kind of what else you can expect. And then again, for the kipping work, we've reduced the skill level. So again, as an example, if there's some kipping ring muscle ups in the gymnastic sessions, we've kind of broken them down a little bit and also reduced the skill level. So instead of ring muscle ups, you can expect like an EMOM of jumping ring muscle ups, getting used to kind of going through the transition and catching yourself on top of the rings, looking to build that confidence, and then going straight into an EMOM of toes to ring straight after to kind of improve the kipping element of being on the rings, and again looking to build that confidence. All right, so those are some like similarities and differences with the ring muscle up sessions. So for the strict handstand push-ups, all right, so for the most part, we've again reduced the skill level and we've increased the volume and the rest again where needed. So again, just kind of as simple as that really. To give you a good example of that, the first week, there's a 2-minute AMRAP of strict handstand push-ups in JST athlete in the all-rounder. On the Tuesday, for the gymnastic bias, it's as simple as, right, there's going to be box-assisted piped handstand push-ups. So we're still getting that same stimulus, and you're getting that same number of reps as someone who's potentially doing the strict handstand push-ups as well. So we're kind of building up that strength endurance, which is what we're after. Okay. And again, on a Saturday, there'll be a similar thing where there might just be a little bit more rest compared to what's in the main core. So there'll be some hold work and some tricep extension work which you can adjust to suit you, like adjust the time range, adjust the weight to kind of suit you, but there might be, like I said, a little bit more rest to make sure you recover better so that you can again get the most out of every set. So again, there's in general more volume on the accessory work and the tricep strength endurance work, and obviously to accommodate for more of this volume, we've dropped the volume of some of the other elements in the program, so the weightlifting work, some of the conditioning work as well, again just to make sure that you're recovering from this and you're getting the most out of this and you're really kind of hitting those weaknesses. Next up, the chest to bar pull-ups and the toes to bar. So on the Wednesday, that's predominantly our chest to bar pull-up, predominantly focusing on butterfly and toes to bar day. For butterfly pull-ups, we alternate between a strict butterfly, a rhythm session where the focus is to do more reps, but making sure that you stay in a butterfly rhythm. So it might not be that you're getting butterfly chest to bar or butterfly pull-ups yet, but like I say, the focus is kind of keeping the circles, keeping the rhythm, and the height session, so where you are aiming to get your chest more towards the bar. Also, occasionally for butterfly pull-ups, we'll do them in a little bit of an interference kind of setting too, but again, where the main focus is practicing the butterfly pull-up. Okay, so you're getting a little bit more time to practice it, even with some interference. Similarly for the toes to bar, again, it's similar. Mirrors very similar to what's in the main core. Again, we've just kind of reduced the skill level. So, example, if you can't do strict toes to bar, it would be strict leg raises as high as you possibly can. Okay. We've also made sure, like I said before, that there's additional kind of kipping and toes to ring sessions. Again, those could be in with the ring muscle ups. Sometimes they might be in with workouts from time to time too. Okay. Obviously why we're kind of incorporated those additional bits, improve body awareness. So we've kind of rotating through those 3 sessions for the butterfly pull-ups. That should again make us more likely to be able to get them more quickly and more efficiently. And obviously just introducing those little bit of interference and additional sessions, it just means we're touching on them more often, so more likely to again pick the skill up quicker. Rope climbs. So again, compared to the main core, we've just simply lowered the skill level. So rather than a legless rope climb to the top, it could just be a legless rope climb as high as you possibly can. Or rather than, again, weighted rope pull-ups, it could just be strict rope pull-ups. Again, just needs to be simple changes like that. Same for the more endurance work. So again, it could be like a rope climb into the holds or a legless rope climb into the holds. It would just simply be, again, a legless rope climb into the holds. It could just simply be the hold work or a rope climb into the hold work after. Or we'll reduce the time of the hold, again, to make sure you're getting that quality out. Or it could be that we've increased the rest to make sure that you can hit the time for the holds. But again, just resting a bit longer has got to ensure that you do that. As well as that, we've got some progressional rope climb drills, a movement that a lot of people can brush up on and become more efficient on. Being able to kind of consistently get to the top of a rope in 2 pulls should be a target that a lot of people have. So again, just making sure that those are in there to make sure that when they do come up in workouts, you know, you can efficiently do them while building the strength and capacity for them. So yeah, final little bit is for the handstand work, handstand hold work. Again, that's going to stay in the Saturday skills session, like Jamie said, but again, we've lowered the skill level so that you're still getting the most out of those. We've also 1 additional session on a Tuesday, again, just to increase the frequency and, you know, increase the likelihood that you begin to master the skill. Okay, so yeah, as simple as that really. It's just adjusting the skill level to make sure that you get the most out of what is in the program. Okay, if it's too high a level and you're not quite doing it properly, you're not going to get the most out of it. So again, for the most part, it's reducing the skill level, making sure that you rest enough, increasing the volume where needed, and that's going to help you unlock the movements that you've not yet got. Hopefully you find this helpful. Let me know if you do have any questions.